What? Say hello to the people. Say what up, motherfuckers. Come on. Say what up, motherfuckers. Guys, this is Harley. Give it up for Harley. What's up? Talk to the people, not to me. Talk to the people. What up, motherfuckers? What up, motherfuckers? All right, listen. Comic book back issues, right? Let's talk comic book back issues. Harley wanted to jump up, be on the screen. She wanted to be a part of this. Harley's a badass motherfucker. Don't get Harley mad. All right. So here we go. Comic book back issues, right? We got to talk about this today because I feel like it's a dying breed. And if it's a dying breed, this industry could potentially be in trouble. Now, hear me out as to why I say this. If all of you guys, including myself, don't get the comic book back issues right and bring about a reemergence of interest in the comic book back issues versus people buying trade paperbacks, you guys are going to lose your local comic shops. Hear me out. People buy collections, right? People buy collections. 9 times out of 10, there's, they get the key issues. Those key issues accommodate for what they purchased the collection for. If not, even more of a return on investment, or more of a profit. And then everybody is left with all of these unwanted comic book back issues. But it's up to all of us, no matter if you're a store, a local comic shop, an online live seller, reseller, whatever it is, the education is going to have to start being put out there to try to grow a re-interest in the collecting of the comic book back issue stories instead of just going and buying a trade paperback. And this one's going to be tough. This one's going to be tough, but I think that it's a necessity. I think that it's mandatory because let's say, okay, they just print up a trade paperback and you want to read now these stories, and you just go and you buy a $14.99 trade paperback that collects stories from issues, whatever, 10 to 20, right? So that's actually hurting the back issue business. Trade paperbacks, omnibus. Well, let me back up because I'm wrong by saying that. Let me back up. The collected stories of the older Golden Age, Silver Age comic books, right? Yeah, those are more expensive comic books. So collecting omnibus and trade paperbacks of those, what's the Marvel Masterworks and all that stuff, that kind of makes sense for people that cannot afford the back issues of those older collected stories, and a lot of them do get pricey. Bronze Age, Copper, Moderns, right? Trade paperbacks in those collected years is literally crucifying the comic book collecting and back issue business. Now, anybody could debate me all they want, but you can't debate me on this because of all the stores that I have, all the stores that I had, and all the stores that are in business with the back issue bins collecting dust. Black and white facts. So no one is coming into those shops collecting back issues unless it becomes a key issue or a minor key issue, or if there's some sort of speculation on one of those issues. If we all do not get and educate and make excitement for reading and collecting comic book back issues, you're gonna lose the local comic shops. I don't care what anybody says, you're gonna lose the local comic shops, and it's almost there. It's that close to going away. Let me explain. So, in this day and age, look at all of the online resellers, online retailers, online, I hate this word flipper, but online flippers and resellers and people that just buy and sell quick. That outnumbers any local comic shop this day and age. You're outnumbered, period. So local comic shops now are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And yet I still see people opening up stores. I give them credit because if they don't own their store, they're working for their landlord, period. They are working for their landlord. And I'll tell you why. Because let's say your rent is $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, pending what state and neighborhood you're in. And then you got utilities, water bill, gas, heat bill, utilities. You got insurance. You got alarm systems. You have payroll. If you're not just doing it yourself and you have a staff, you got payroll expenses. You're working for your landlord. Any profits that are coming in from the collections that you're buying, you're giving it right back to the landlord. You're giving it right back. You're Peter to Pauling. Do you guys know what that means? Peter to Paul. It's an old school term. It means like you get money from this side, but you give it right back to this side. Peter to Paul. So how do you guys all fix that, right? The way you guys have to fix that is everybody has to be on the same page. Everyone has to be on the same page with education, with promoting back issues, with promoting sales of the actual back issues and get the younger generation interested again. How does that happen? Well, it's not going to happen with these garbage ass movies. I'll tell you that. Because you guys all think that the movies are helping your sales. But in actuality, these movies suck so bad, it's killing the interest in the comic book collecting community. Now, for example, let's look at the last Venom movie. When, like always, a trailer is released, sales are going to start to spike, right? But the second the movie comes out and people actually see the actual movies, boom, crashes. That should not happen. And if there's good production teams, good producers who actually make good movies, that won't happen. Now, look at Marvel, right? So they write Kang out, but yet the fucking bitch drops all the charges on the actor who played Kang the other day. So fuck up his career, right? Fuck up his career. Marvel writes him out of the movies, right? Change everything because of some bitch. And now it's all about Doctor Doom, right? So now look at your comic books. Doctor Doom is in every motherfucking thing. They're making Doctor Doom series. Spider-Man now has a goddamn Doctor Doom costume with number 61. Doctor Doom miniseries. Doctor Doom team-ups. Every motherfucking thing is Doctor Doom because they had to build something now else from Kang. If this keeps up, it's gonna contaminate the comic book industry. It's gonna contaminate the business. It's gonna oversaturate and contaminate any value whatsoever with all of these bullshit gimmicks. It's getting out of control. And it's getting out of control because they're desperate. That's what it is. They're desperate for sales. And you want to know how they're getting all of these sales? Because the local comic shops are desperate to stay alive. So they keep ordering it. See, when you see 400,000 copies sold, 200,000 copies sold, 50,000 copies sold, they're sold because the comic shops are buying them from Diamond, from Penguin. These are all the orders. This is how orders are tracked. Batman, Absolute Batman. What is it? What was it? Oh, shit. Don't hold me to this. I'm just saying in general. I don't know. 400,000 copies sold or 40,000. I don't know. My numbers are off. Don't hold me on that. I'm not sure, but it's something. It's not like those numbers are the people buying those books from the local comic shops and the resellers. No, it's the local comic shops putting their orders into Diamond and Penguin. That's what's generating orders. People ordering 25 copies of this to get a 1 in 25 variant, 50 copies of this to get the 1 in 50, 100 copies of this shit to get the 1 in 100, 200 copies of this shit to get the 1 in 200. Is it really worth it? I mean, for a book like Absolute Batman, yes. To a degree, yes, absolutely, sure. But is it really worth it for everything else? I mean, think about that. Do you really have the people coming in and out of your stores anymore? Is the younger generation, do they even give a shit about this stuff anymore? The answer to that is no. It's guys, mostly guys, our ages now, who are still buying this stuff, who have an interest in it, who are buying and selling it. It's not the younger generation. And if the younger generation is involved with it at some degree, they're not involved in it on a back issue level. They're involved in it to go on an app and dump it quick. They don't give a shit. They don't even have the knowledge of what stories artists, writers, characters, creators, inkers are even on those books or stories. They don't have a fucking clue. All they care about is getting something for dirt cheap low and just trying to dump it in auctions and buy it nows and best offers to make some sort of profit to balance out. They don't have a passion for this industry. They only have a passion for quick flip money. But what they're doing and the way that they are all doing it, because the apps don't have any type of control over the way that they sell and how they sell, is they're creating market downfall. Because by them dumping and dumping and dumping and not respecting titles and issue numbers and history, they're crucifying the value of the comic books. They're crucifying and killing back issues. They're crucifying and killing worth and value. How does that change? Well, apps should not allow auction number 1, auction number 2, auction number 3. Apps in collectibles should make it mandatory that a title and an issue number must be present. Title, issue number, and year, publication date must be present. Why do I say this? For tracking purposes. So they should report the sales. Sales should be monitored in collectibles. Spider-Man 1, 1997, Spider-Man 1, 1970, blah, blah, blah. X-Men 1, 1994, X-Men 1, 1970, blah, 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 blah. It should be tracked. It should be monitored. And sales history should be tracked and monitored. With that being said, that would put a control on the collectibles market. If you want to sell collectibles, then take the fucking extra 5 seconds and make it mandatory. You have to type the title, the issue number, and the publication date, period. And then that way, sales could be tracked all across the board, whether you're buying and selling on whatever app you're buying and selling on, Shortboxed app, eBay already does it, Shortboxed app. So everything can have a tracking. So everything can be reported, tracked, FMV, GPA. Even though I always say a collectible is only worth the price somebody in the world is willing to pay for it, which is the truth, this control would start making more respectful sales if it's tracked. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to increase a value by any means, but what I am saying is if 75 true copies of Superman number 75 were sold on an app, actually registered and monitored for $1, and on eBay it sells for, let's say, $1.50, and on Shortbox, let's say it sells for $1.25, you could get a real, true FMV GPA pricing on that stuff, instead of just dumping it out. Auction 1, Auction 2, Auction 3, Auction 4, because motherfuckers are lazy. And quite honestly, also the apps should make it mandatory to put title, issue number, and publication date, so that way it reduces mistakes in shipping, because then a buyer would see, all right, I bought an Amazing Spider-Man 361, a Superman 75, a Batman 21, a Shazam 18, a Justice League 15. So there's no mistakes that could be potentially made. It would be a safety for the seller to have a manifest, a packing slip, instead of just saying Auction 1, Auction 2, Auction 3, Auction 4. Mistakes happen. Mistakes could happen. It's a backup. Buyers are always appreciative, with the sellers that do say Superman 1, Spider-Man 18, Action Comics 57, blah, 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 number 18. Because there's no mistakes or guessing games. What does that do then for the back issue business? Well, I feel that if the app companies mandate this and make this required, it not only builds some sort of like a supply and demand, even though that there is not a supply and demand in a lot of these back issues. But if the title, the issue number, and the publication date are required, mandatory, things could be tracked better across all different selling platforms. It could be recorded in the collectibles business. Same thing like cards. It could be recorded and tracked in the collectibles industry, and a better FMV GPA valuation can be made. Now, are most of these back issues worth anything? No, they're not. And there are key issues and minor key issues. How do we change that as sellers? Well, we got to get people vested in stories. We got to get people to stop with the trade paperbacks and to go after the originals. Now, that's going to be almost impossible. It's going to be a feat that is fucking impossible to obtain. So what's going to happen? I think it's a dying industry. And you can debate me all you want, but again, if you really have a store, a physical brick and mortar store going into 2025 and you don't own your building, you work for your landlord. I don't care what anybody says. You're taking your profits, you're taking your sales, and you're handing it right over to your landlord to pay rent. So if that's the case, close your store, right? Close your store. Go get a $200 or $400 storage facility. Put your stuff in there and take your time and list everything on eBay and the Shortbox app. Or if you use those apps, which I don't know why anybody does anymore, because selling live to people, it's a waste of time. Baby niche. Remember what I always tell you guys. Baby niche of time, limited amount of time, and your audience is a limited amount of people. Why would you want to waste your time like that? You want to promote to the world. You want to show your items to the world. You want to get on a worldwide level. 7-day auctions to the world. 10-day auctions to the world. Even Shortboxed. Shortbox.com, Shortboxed app has increased its numbers dramatically, and it's continuing to grow. So more users, more sales. They disclose their numbers. Go check it out. So that's what I think is the safer play. A lot of people would try to debate me, and they think that local comic shops draw in new readers and younger generation readers. No, they don't. No, they don't. And if you truly track your businesses, no matter what state or city or town you're in, no, they don't. It's dying. So how do you get things sold then? So, okay. I would recommend lots. I see so many successful online companies running lots, bulk lots. And that way, they're liquidating their back issues as complete lots. And then it's pretty much just a free-for-all. Is that person actually a reader? 90% of the time. And hear me out. 90% of the time, no. It's a person with a hope dream. It's a person with a hope dream that wants to then try to resell them, maybe individually. Okay, that's what collectibles is. It's a gamble. It always is. People buy the packs. People like to buy cards, right? You want to buy the boxes, the packs. You want to open them up. You're taking a gamble. You're taking a risk. Comic books, we've had so many movies now. Like, what the fuck possibly could they make? What possibly else could they make? And they got to make it good, because they're making movies, but the movies just are not good. And when movies are not, let me back up. They're making movies. When they announce the movie on the trailer, sales start to go, right? People start dumping their stuff. People start moving comic books that don't normally move, or they start moving comic books higher than what they normally sell for. And then the movie comes out, movie sucks, and everybody loses interest. But also, too, the people that bought these things so high, they lose money. And they can't get their money back because they can't resell it for a profit. So they're going to have to sell it at a loss. Well, who's to blame for that? Who's to blame for that? And I don't blame the producers of these movies. Like, I'm not a fan of James Gunn. I say this all the time. And a lot of people, some like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I hated them. Some people liked it. I like this Matt Reeves. I like Matt Reeves. What he just did on the Penguin is brilliant. Brilliant. With all those Easter eggs, possible Jason Todd, possible Scarecrow, possible what is it? Oh my God. Harley Quinn might stem out of this somehow. Joker. It excites me. Penguin excited me. Matt Reeves' Penguin makes me want to go and get some old school Penguin comics, Jason Todd comics, Scarecrow comics. When I look at James Gunn stuff in the past, it doesn't make me want to go out and get some Guardians of the Galaxy comic books. Guys, am I telling any lies? When was the last time you guys sold Guardians of the Galaxy books? It's been years for me. Years. No one has asked me in years if I have a first appearance Guardians of the Galaxy. The first Gamora practically sold for peanuts. No one cares about Drax. That Captain Marvel with the second Drax and the third Thanos, that sold for peanuts. That's a problem. Who's to blame, though? Is it the producer to blame? Is it James Gunn to blame? Or is it Marvel to blame? Or is it DC to blame? I blame Marvel and DC because they should micromanage the perfection of the movie. A director should not be allowed, seriously speaking, a director, and I'm saying this on record, should not be allowed to have this free reign to bring a Marvel or DC character creation without extreme scrutiny from Marvel and DC to truly capture the stories of history that they wrote and they drew on the pages of historic comic books, because what they're allowing is for it to become deteriorated from these bullshit directors doing what they want to do in their image, bringing characters and stories to life. It's crucifying the industry. If you don't see it crucifying the industry, you got to open your eyes more, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's no more free money. There's no more government free money anymore. Those 2 years that you all had and you thought it was the app that made you see money and revenue, you thought it was the app? No. It was free government money. It was people thinking that they were rich and people thinking that they could make it rain. And all the fucking idiots did that and did nothing with their free money and didn't invest properly with their free money. Now they got nothing. So I hope you weren't one of them. If you were, I feel bad for you. But now, look at it. The apps are dead. Also, too, the apps' reputations They crucified themselves with whom they protected and whom they allowed to sell and manipulate and steal and lie and cheat from all of you. So that's dead. And this is why eBay and ShortBoxStap, they're spiking. This is why. People finally realized exactly what I said. Live sales are a waste of your fucking time. Little baby niche of time, a little window of time to a little window of people in the room where you could just sit back for 8 to 10 hours, put photos on your eBay and your ShortBoxStaps, run the auctions, run your live sales, reach the world. And then you kick back, relax, do your thing, fuck your girlfriend, watch some sports, do whatever the fuck you guys want to do. And in 7 days or 10 days, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And you go on your apps and you print out your fucking labels and you pack up all your comics and on to the next. And this is how to succeed. Please get off the live sales. You are actually losing money on a live sale. You're devaluing yourself. You are. And you come and see the light that I'm trying to show you. Well, you're going to need some motherfucking sunglasses because the light's going to shine bright in your fucking wallets. Take your time. Sit your ass at the desk. Take all pictures of all your comic books, put them on your eBay, put them on your ShortBoxStap, run your auctions, run your 7-day auctions, run your 10-day auctions, put up some buy it nows for some better books with best offer. Let people make bulk bundle deals. You can't sell your back issues? Run them in a bulk lot. Let the world dictate it, and we'll end it by saying it like this. Say it with me. A collectible is only worth the price someone in the world is willing to pay for it. Keyword world. Get the fuck off the live sales. You're wasting your time. Reach the world on eBay and the ShortBoxed.com ShortBoxed app. I'll see you guys real soon.